Hey, hi everyone. This is Sai from Let's Upgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us, like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
Hey everyone, welcome to what I believe is going to be one of the most practical oriented and valuable tutorial we are going to watch. Hey, I am Prithis Priyadarshi and I have been working as a full stack developer with Genie AI and also a growth strategy expert for more than 8 years of experience. So I have been also a part of multiple production level websites for different startups, some of the Fortune 500 companies and everything in between. So today we are going to build a professional testimonial page like this from the scratch. And during this building process, we'll learn some of the core skills. We'll focus mostly on the semantic HTML5 markup, that is the block code, site, figure, and all this. Along with this, we will also learn about some of the CSS styling techniques. We'll come across the Flexbox, CSS Grid, and building the responsive layout. We'll also try to integrate the CSS custom properties like variable for the better for making the code much more scalable and maintainable. We'll also come across some accessibility based practices. I'll give you a glimpse of it and responsive design pattern for the mobile first development website. All right. All right, so directly before jumping to the code and understanding the project structure, let's come across three mistakes that we need to avoid while building this particular website. So here, the first mistake is you can see in this particular code base, we have extensively used the div tags. Okay. So by doing this extensive use of only div tags, what happens is it hurts the ACO, it hurts the accessibility and the code readability of the particular website. So this means that the structure of this website lacks the meaning. It makes it harder for the search engine to index it, and also make it for also makes it difficult for the screen reader to navigate around. Okay. To avoid this kind of issues, what we need to do is we need to learn to implement all the semantic HTML tags. Okay, like the main, section, article, which becomes much more easier to understand and all stuff. Okay, and all the issue that is faced previously, that is being fixed by using of the semantic HTML tags. Okay, let's now jump to the second issue that we face. That is, we hard code everything like this in our website. Okay, hard code the color value, hard code the spacing values, and using this absolute values like the hash 00800 and also this 20px directly in the css instead of using the css variable. So this lead to massive this effort in vain, by because by doing that it do not respond to different properties like the dark mode, light mode, and it is becomes very difficult for us to scale the website for a larger website. Okay, so to avoid this kind of issues, what we can do is we can create variables. Okay, we can create the variables and implement in the code. So to create a global variable, we need to declare it inside this root selector that we have implemented it right here. Okay, the root selector matches to the root element, the root elements. Okay, all right, so this is what we can do. And then here we can see, here we have used the var function, which is used to insert the value of that declared css variable. Okay, which is need to insert the value of that declared css variable. So this is how we can create a variable and how we can implement a variable. Okay, So by this, our code becomes much more easier, much more dynamic, and we follow a certain themic pattern in our code. And the third mistake which we need to avoid right here is we do not think about the responsive design at the first. We do not think about the mobile first approach in our website from the very first. Here, what we have done is we have implemented the fixed width for the container. We have implemented the fixed width of the image. So when the screen size becomes smaller, the contents overflow from the layout. Okay, the contents overflow of the way layout, and it is makes us very difficult to understand or interact with different element. So to avoid this kind of situation, what we can do is we can learn to add the CSS media rule. Okay, by adding the CSS media rule, we can create different breakpoint from different screen size. Like for the larger screen, for the tablet, we can create a min width of 768. For the smaller screen, we can create a breakpoint of different smaller value about 300 and all stuff. So we can create a breakpoint for different screen size and make our website much more responsive to different screen size and much more easier to interact with different elements. Let's start with initial project setup for this. So for this particular website to build, what we need is we need a particular web browser to test the code. We need a code editor to write the code. For this project, I am using Firefox Developer Edition. For the code editor, I am using the VS Code. And we are using for the fonts, for the custom font, what you can do is you can go to this fonts.google.com, search for any font which you want. Okay, let's see, I am interested in this. Here on the right hand side, click on get font, click on this embed code, copy this and paste it in your uh, projects. All right, in the head tag. Then for this particular avatar in the website, we are using this dice spear. All right, click here on the playground, click on the avatar which you want to use, copy this and paste the source code on your web page. All right, so before that, what we'll do is let's do the initial project setup. For that, let's create an index. Sorry, just give me a minute. Yeah, let's create an index dot html file and styles dot css file. Now what we'll do is click on shift 1, press enter. It will load the boilerplate, testimonial as the title, and here let's do the linking of the style sheet. So style sheet linking, here control and forward slash to turn it into a comment, link tag in the href, just write the file name. And here we go, we have the HTML file and we have the CSS file right here. All right, so this is the very initial setup, and after that what we can do is we can fill this up with the different meta layers, ACO layers, and in the body we can start with the semantic containers, the main, the article, the figure caption, site, and block code. All right, so let's proceed with that. To start with, let's do one more thing. Here, let's add the SEO meta tags first. All right, so we'll also learn about that. We'll add a meta tag, the meta description tag. Okay, the meta description will have the content, read authentic testimonials from Falsify. All right, then we'll add one more meta tag with the name as keywords and content as testimonials. We'll add some Sorry for the typos. Testimonials will add some customer review. Then we can add social proof. All right, so these are all the keywords which you can add. We can add a lot more. And one more meta we can add is this is for the author of the page, and content you can give it the company name as Pulsify or anything. So these are the invisible tags. Okay, so these are the ACO tags. After the ACO tags, what we can do is we'll learn about a new thing that is called Open Graph Social Sharing. Okay, these are the specific tag which we'll be using. So why you're using this? When you share a particular link in a social media, you'll see a preview of the link loading up in the social media with the title, with a new preview image and a brief description. So this is, with this tag you can enhance that. We can change how the title will look when you share the link in the social media and all stuff. So for this, let me add as open graph social sharing. Okay, so for this what we can do is let's add few of our tags. Okay, let's add a meta title property as testimonial real author. So this is what we need for our website, real authentic user. If you want to, so this will be the title. This is the image. Let's, you want to load a specific image, so you can use that. Okay, and the type is website, and the URL, anything your site, you can use your website URL. Okay, so this is how the website will look when you do the social sharing. All right, so now let's move to the next part. Then we have the title right here, and what we have done is we have copied a this code. Okay, so this here we'll be using the custom font in our website. So let's do that. So for that, what I'll be doing is I'll just create a Google font int. Yes. Okay, so let me turn this into a comment and paste it right here. All right, save it, control A. All right, so now the font part is ready, the style set is done. Now let's move to the body part. Okay, so now we are done with the header part. So let's move to the body part. So here we'll create a main wrapper class for centering the image. We'll create a page wrapper. So div dot, so here I have an issue with the D key in the keyboard. Okay, and let's name the class as page wrapper. Okay, so this div act as a main wrapper. Okay, main wrapper for centering the elements of the page content. Okay, now after that, let's move to the next thing, and here we'll create a another container for the all the semantic main element. Okay, for the semantic main element we'll create another wrapper, and let's name it as, okay, semantic main element. Okay, forward slash, and here we'll load the main and give it a class name as testimonials and main. Okay, So we have now the semantic main element. So inside the main element, what we'll do is inside the main element, we'll add different, we'll add the header section. Okay. We'll add the header section, which will have the, this particular section. We'll add this header section, which have this SVG icon. So here we are using the SVG icon right here. So we'll add this SVG icon, and then we'll add a header right here. Under this, we'll add the subheader. So let's proceed with that. Let's keep it quick. So header section, and let's name it as testimonial header. And inside this, what we can do is we'll have the h1 tag as testimonial. Let's not name as a title, header, testimonial header. So this is under testimonial headers, title to avoid confusion. Okay, and then what we can do is for the subheading, we'll do follow the same strategy. Okay, so testimonial header, testimonial subtitle. Okay, so let's make it more interesting by writing public cheers for us, and here let's keep it that. All right, so then, so this here, what we missed is we have missed the SVG part along with the testimonial. So let's do that. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's create one division, and here we'll put all the tags. So give a tag name as testimonial, testimonials hyphen header tag. Okay, and here under this testimonial header tags, we'll have both of this. Control. Okay, so we'll have both of this, the p tags and the h1 tags, and along with that, what I can do is let's copy and paste the icon. So I have already have a, so here let's testimonial icon. Okay, so this is the testimonial icon right here. So then after that, we will use a span tag testimonial. Okay, so we are almost done with the header. Okay, so the header section is almost done. To check it, just open with live server, and okay, so we haven't written any CSS code, so that's why here you can see the SVG icon is there, loading testimonial public cheers to us. All right. So now what we can do here is let's proceed further with the code. Okay, so now we'll not worry about the styling, how it looks and all stuff. So here we are following a grid layout strategy. Okay, so here in this project we are following the grid layout strategy, and here what happens is we are creating for different breakpoints for different screens. Okay, so for so we'll okay, let's complete the HTML and we'll tell you about the breakpoints. So we have created four breakpoints, one for less than uh, for the mobile screen and other sections. So let's start with the testimonial grid container. Okay, so here the testimonial grid container begins, and here under this the container is part of section tag, and let's give it a class name. For now we can give the class name as the testimonial hyphen grid. Okay, so under this section what we'll do is we have a class name, and along with the class name let's give, just let me know why I am using this. Okay, I'll tell you after some time. Just do a research and tell me why I am using the attribute. Okay, customer testimonials from Twitter. Okay, what is the use of this? Just let me know. Do a research. Then we'll add cards one by one. Okay, so we'll add, keep on adding. So under this section we have created one section, and under this sections we'll add multiple card. So let's start with the first card, testimonial card 30. So testimonial one, card start and card end. Okay, so let's make it easy for others to understand the code too. So here the testimonial card start, testimonial card end. Then here, as said before, we'll use the article semantic tags and give it a class name as testimonial. Okay, under this article what we'll do is to wrap the all the like the author, the site, and the avatar, will use the semantic tag that is figure. All right, we'll use the semantic tag figure, give it a class name as testimonial figure. Okay, and this act as a wrapper for the card header, the reviews and all stuff. Okay, so under this what we'll do is we'll create a card header. Okay, so card header, and the card header will create a div for that. Okay, and this div will give the class name as testimonial header. Okay, and under this testimonial header we'll create one more div and give it name as testimonial user info. Okay, under this user info we'll have a user avatar. All right, so the user avatar is something that we have copied from the playground of the dice bear, which I have shown you before. Okay, so now this part is ready. Okay, So now we are ready with the user avatar. Then after the user avatar, we need the s- citation info about who is the author and the handle of the Twitter handle of the author. So here let's have the user citation info forward slash, and here we'll add the we'll create a figure caption. Okay, under this figure caption, let's give it a class name as testimonial station. All right, and here we'll learn to use the implementation of the site. Okay, the site will have a class name as testimonial name, the person who is giving the testimonial. Let's say Hitesh. Okay, and then we'll add the handle of that person. Okay, so for that we'll add a span, give it a class name as testimonial handle. Okay, and here we will write the handle as @Hitesh. Okay, and I am adding one more tag. Just do a research and let me know why I am using it. Okay, at the end I will tell you these two things. Okay, equals // Hitesh. All right, so this is what we are doing right here. So we are, let's see if it is working all right or not. Save it. Okay, now you can see already we have the avatar, we have the handle, and we have the name of the person who is giving the uh, the uh, testimonial thing, who is the author of the testimonial. Okay, so then here we are done till this part. Okay, we are done till this part. Now we'll add the social media icon and we'll load the testimonial using the block code. So let's proceed with that particular part of the code. Okay, so for the social media icon, you can search for the SVG icon for the Twitter. Okay, and paste it. So already I have done that. Let me paste here. So figure caption div container. Okay, after the testimonial header part is done, so header part has all this info. Okay, so then we'll start with the platform link button, which will be our Twitter. Sometimes you can also add for the here in this reference we have added only Twitter. You can add Google Maps, any reference for Facebook icons. So this will be your task. Okay, so let's add that. So for that I already have the search for any SVG icon. Okay, for the Twitter, and simply paste it right here. All right, so now we are done with the icon. Let's end it the anchor tag. So we have an anchor tag on click. Well, Hitesh testimonial view Hitesh testimonial on Twitter. Save it. All right. Now the next part. So now we are done with the this part, anchor tag. Okay. So then let's proceed further. One thing I have done. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, one thing what we need to do is let's move it to the user info, and here this need to come here. Control A, Alt Shift F, save. Okay. So now this is ready. The figure caption need to be inside the user situation info must be inside the user info, which I have by mistakenly I moved it out. Then now everything is all right, and this need to be inside the testimonial header div. Okay, so this part is fixed. All right, so this part is fixed. So now what we need to do is we need to now focus on the card body. Okay, so now we need to focus on the the quotation content. Okay, so quotation slash review content. Okay, so here, as said before, we'll use the block quote. And for the block quote, what we'll be doing, let's also add a class name as testimonial underscore quote, and inside it we'll add a paragraph tag. Okay, and here just add lorem, just a default text. Okay, just write lorem and press enter, and it will just load the default text for the testimonials. So this is how we have completed the tag testimonial 1. Okay, so similarly what I'll do is I'll just copy this, Control C, and just card 2. Okay, similarly we'll just card 3. Okay, now card 4. We'll add the 6. Okay, we'll add 6 testimonial. Card 5, card 6. Okay, so now Control A also. All right, so now we are ready with our testimonial HTML page. Let's check it out. Okay, so we haven't added any styling, so this is how it looks. But right now we have all the things ready with us. Okay, so now the HTML page for the testimonial is ready for us with all the 6 tags. Okay, so now the next step is styling this particular page. Okay, all right, let's start with the design system of the website before moving to the style set. So here, this is also known as the DNA of a particular website. Here, firstly, what we are doing here, we are doing a normalization. Okay, what normalization we are doing? We are setting a rule that the padding should not break the grid calculation. For that, we are keeping the box sizing, the border box value as box sizing as border box. So here what exactly happens? So in a particular HTML, all the HTML element, what happens is each element's width, okay, each element's width is is the calculation of the width that is defined by us plus the padding which we are adding to the element plus the border which we are adding to the element. So that is the actual width of a particular element. And also that also applies to the height. We have default height which we have defined, then the padding size, then the border size, that becomes the actual height. So what happens is when we keep on when we are building the responsive website, it creates a lot of inconsistency in the design and all stuff happens during the design process. So here, to avoid such kind of issues, we are using the box sizing to border box, which means that the total width of the element is inclusive of the padding size and the border size. So here it do not create the inconsistent size of each of the cards and all stuff. So that's why we are doing this normalization right here. And the second normalization is we are following the 62.5% math. Okay, so this might be new for most of you people. So what happens is, but you might know that the default font size for most of the browser is 16 pixel. Okay, so keeping the number 16 and calculating lot of stuffs becomes very difficult most of the time. So here what we are doing is we are converting that 16 pixels to 10 pixel as one rem. So how to do that? So we are in HTML, we are setting the font size as 62.5. So 62.5% means it by applying the font size to 62.5%, it is converting the 16 pixels to 10 pixel. How? 16 pixels into 6.2 62.5% is, that is equal to 10 pixels. So this is how we are converting one rem from 16 pixel to 10 pixel. So why we are doing that? So previously, to use 24 pixel, what we need to do, so here we are using rem, not pixels. We will be using rem for all the measurements and all the units, and that's why. So if let's say we somewhere there is a specification need to, we need a font size or something as 10 24 pixels. So then converting the 24 pixels previously into rem, we need to divide it by 16, it becomes 1.5. So the calculation becomes hectic. Okay, but now to use 24 pixel, what you can do, just 24 by 10, we just need to shift the decimal point to the left. So this is how the calculation becomes very easy for us, that is 2.4 rem. So 24 pixel becomes 2.4 rem right now. So for easier calculation, we are following this particular standards, that is 62.5% math. Okay. All right, the next thing is token definitions. We are defining colors, we are creating a value a variable along with the value for different colors, and we can implement that variables in our designing and all stuff. For the spacing right here, uh, what we'll be doing is we'll be following a 8-point grid system. Okay, we'll be following a 8-point grid system. So here we will be using some variables like space dash 2, which is something similar to the tailwind system of naming conventions and the modern design conventions for the spacing. Space hyphen 4, so it is so this variables, for this variable the rem value is 0.8. Okay, and that is, and in terms of if you convert it into pixel, 0.8 into 10, that is 8 pixel, this becomes one base unit. So while implementing this doubt will be cleared slowly. And for all the shadows and radius, we are using a certain roundness to all the card. We are using all the curved cards, and we are giving a depth to it. So we are applying shadow to all the cards so that we'll have a depth kind of view for all the cards right here, testimonial cards. So this is all about the design system. Now let's move to the CSS code. Let's start with CSS reset that we have discussed before. So for the reset, select all element. Also select the before and after. We'll set the margin to 0, padding to 0, and the box sizing to 0. Here the before and after we have used. So before and after we are setting also to 0 its margin and padding. Then the HTML as defined, we will set the font size to 62.5, okay, as we have discussed. And then for the body, what we'll do is font family, okay. We'll create a variable. We'll implement it instead of hard coding it. What we will use the variable function right here, and here we will import this from the font variable which we'll be creating right now. Okay, so and then we'll send the font size to 1.6 rem. Okay, that is 16%, 16 pixel base. For the body, we can keep it. We can give the line height as 1.5. Okay, and color. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Before applying all of this styling, what else we can do is let's add all the custom design tokens. Okay, let's add the custom design tokens for all of this. So instead of writing all the custom design token, what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste it right here. All the custom design tokens that we'll be using. Custom design token. So what exactly is this is we have created a different variables with different value for different colors which we'll be using in this project. Okay, so color text primary, it will import this particular color. It makes the coding much more dynamic. We can change this variable, we can implement it anywhere. So we don't, every time we do not need to change this color text primary, we can change it directly right here. So this code is not optimized. We are dumping everything in the style sheet. We can keep a separate styling sheet for everything and import it. This also you guys can do that. So here for the typography, the font which we have imported, font family inter. Okay, so this is the font which we have imported, and the font size for the XS is 1.2. We have defined different font size for everything, font weight and all, everything is defined right here. The spacing which I was discussing with you, that we are following the 8 pixel base unit. So accordingly, we have defined the border radius. This is all the variables and the value is defined, and we'll be implementing right here in this particular project. Okay, so color, we are using the body color as primary color. Okay, and next what we can do is the background. For the background, what I have told you guys is you can like will be use you can if you want, you can go to this particular website. I guess I missed the website initial. Okay, the website was web gradient. Okay, this is loading. So while it is loading, I'll just I have, okay, now it is done. So here you have n number of gradients in front of you. Which gradient you like? Let's say we like this gradient, just copy the CSS. Okay, and move to your code. and simply paste it right here. Okay, so here, okay, let's move to one more thing. Right click, open with live server. Okay, well, we'll fix it and we'll come back. So this is how we can use different gradients. Okay, or if you have any code, you can use it. So this is one way of using it. Other way you can follow also. Let's, or you can use the custom background. You can use the background image like this. Okay, like this, or you can use the background anyway which you felt comfortable. Okay, so these are the two ways of implementation of the gradient. Okay, so anything which you feel comfortable, you can use it. So I just told you using this. Then we can set the minimum height of the body to 100% of the viewport height. So min height of the body need to be 100% of the viewport height. So 100 VH. Okay. And one more thing, there is a mistake right here. Okay. Every code which I have written, there is a mistake right here. We have forgot to use the semicolon. So keep in mind, do not forget to implement that at the end of each rules. Okay, so minimum height will set the display type to flex. Okay, to make it more responsive, we'll do the center alignment. So align items to center, justified vertical and horizontal alignment. We are doing it to center. We'll adding it padding. Instead of hard coding the padding value, what we can do is we will use the var, and here we'll use the var 8. So what is var 8 and var space 4? All right, so here in the padding, okay, we are using two values. First is for the vertical space. So at the top and the bottom, we are applying 3.2 rem. The space 8 is 3.2 rem. And for the horizontal padding, that is for the left and right padding space, we are using 16 pixel, that is 1.6 rem right here. All right, so this is, we are done with the padding. Now we are done with the body. So let's move to the next part, that is the image, the avatar image styling. Okay, so for that we'll select the image and set the max width to 100 and height will set to auto, and we'll create a display. Sorry, we'll set the display to block. Sorry, we'll set the display to block and save it. All right, by setting the max width to 100%, so here what happens, if the image is image will cover the maximum width of this parent element and will not overflow to the parent element. So that's why we have kept the max width to 100%. If the image is, let's say, if the image is smaller, it will remain smaller. But if the image is overflowing, it should not exceed the parent content. All right, so that's why we have used max width instead of width only. Okay, if it is small, it will remain small, but if it is overflowing, it should not exceed the parent container size. Okay, so height we have set to auto. According to the width of the image, the height will adjust accordingly. So by default, image is our inline element. It will come one after the other. But here by say we are changing the display type of the image from inline to block label element. We are done with the image. Now let's move to the button. For the button, we'll set the font which it will inherit from the parent, and when we move our mouse, it will show the cursor as a pointer. All right. So then we are almost done. Okay. And also for the root element definition is done, the default sizing is done. Now what we can do is let's work on the let's move to the next part, that is the page wrapper. The page wrapper, let's do the styling. The parent container here. So let's move to the styling part. Okay, let's go down. So dot page hyphen wrapper and container will do the styling. Let's start with the page wrapper. So this page wrapper will set the width to 100%. Okay. And let me see if I have missed any semicolon. All right. Then what we can do is let's set the maximum width. That will be containers max width. Okay. Which we have set, created a variable, and the margin will do keep it center aligned 0 and auto. Okay. And then save it. The next thing is testimonial header. Let's do this. Let's do the styling of this dot testimonial header. For this testimonial header, we'll do the text alignment, and the margin button will keep it to 12. Okay, 4.8 rem for this, and then we'll keep the padding to 0. Top and vertical and horizontal padding is we'll keep it 1.6. Okay, we're keeping it 1.6 rem. Okay, so similarly, what we are done with the header, then let's move to the next header tag. Control C. So here we'll do certain changes. We'll set the display type to inline flex. Sorry, this is inline flex. Okay, and then we'll align all the items to center. Align item center. For gap, we'll keep the space to, we'll keep small gaps between each testimonial with the testimonial headers. Okay, containers. We'll add a margin here. Let's add a background color, primary light. We'll keep it primary light for now, and the text color we can keep it as color, text color, secondary. Save it. Okay, now, all right. So we are slowly building it up. Okay, testimonial header part we are right now working on. So background color is set to this testimonial background. Okay, what else we can do is mm, let's keep the background blurred background. So to have the blurred background, we'll have the background filter and set it to blur as 10 pixel. Okay, then background color is applied, background padding. Let's apply a padding. What we can do is yes, horizontal padding space 1, vertical will keep vertical will keep 1, horizontal will keep more padding space. For the border radius, we'll keep the complete round. We'll keep it complete round. So here we have a variable round full. So to have a complete roundness of the edges, we are using the maximum border radius right here for the testimonial header tag. Okay. So to add a depth, we need to add a box shadow. Okay. Box shadow will apply a shadow as excess. Little shadow will not add much. The light elevation we need. We'll keep the font size to excess small and font weight to medium. The color is applied, and if you want to add animation, you can add animation to that. So right now I'm not adding animation and all stuff, but you can do that. And for this filter, this will not apply. You need to apply a WebKit rule also to it to make it applicable. All right, so this is done. The testimonial tag part. Okay, why it is okay, got it. Here I have written, I think something wrong. The testimonial header tag is here on this design page. Okay, so here we are facing this issue because we have done a bit blunder in the code right here. So this part need to be out right here. Control A, Alt Shift F, Control S. All right. So now let's see. All right. So now the testimonial part is fixed. Okay. So now this is fixed, the design issue. All right. So let's move to the styling part. Styleset.css. We are done with the header. Now let's work on the transition. If you want, then we can keep save. Let's move to testimonials. code we have, we can design. Okay, now let's design this testimonial headers. So let's design this part, that is the icon. So what happens is the icon is not visible right now. So let's do the styling for that. Testimonial header tag, and under this what we'll do is we'll apply the styling to the SVG. Okay, so for this we'll set the width, height, and field color is color primary. Save it, and right now you can see this is visible. Okay, so this styling part is done. Now let's do the styling of this. Okay, so let's move to the code. Testimonial header title. Okay, dot control V. Testimonial header title. We'll send the font size to somewhere around 5 pixel. Font weight extra bold. Font color text set primary. Well, do not need a margin top. For this we'll create a line height, spacing between each line. So we'll keep the line height to tight. Okay, to see what is line height, tight is 1.25. Each line height we'll keep it to 1.25. We'll keep it a bit tighter. We do not give much line height. Okay, 1.25 line height. Then we can apply the spacing. We need to create, here you can see how the text are a bit wider, so, and the spacing between each text. So for that what we can do is we can apply the letter spacing the same tight. Okay, save it and see. Okay, if it is working. All right, if it's working, now what we can do is, for this let's apply the media tags. Media tag for the minimum width of 600 pixels. 600, keep it to 40 pixels. So for the header title the font size will be smaller. So for the smaller screen, so this font size is for the bigger screen or the default font size, and for the smaller screen what we have done is I have reduced the font size, and to make it differentiable and understandable while I'm showing you, let's change the color, text color, from primary to secondary. Okay, so that while doing the responsiveness you can. And for the smaller screen we do not need extensive line height, so we'll keep a line height to relaxed. Okay, you can see right here line height little bit of wider we are keeping. For the smaller screen, bigger text and all stuff, we'll set the margin left to auto, margin right to auto. 7. So by setting the margin okay, sorry for the typo. You can or you can set the margin set to auto. So by doing that what we are doing is, by setting margin left auto, the elements are dragged towards the left hand side. By setting margin right to auto, the elements are dragged towards the right hand side. by setting the margin left and right as auto or the margin as auto, the elements are dragged to the left and right side, and the elements, so if both of the side are equally dragged, the element remain consistently at the center of the screen. So that's what makes it happen. And since the screen size is smaller, we need to set the maximum width. We can keep it as 60 rem. Okay, accordingly you can calculate the pixel values. Okay, so now we are done with the title part. So let's move to the, so the title part is done. Let's move to the subtitle part. Okay, so for the subtitle, what we can do is, let's set the font size to Excel. Okay, uh, for this what we will do is, let's do one more thing. Let's keep it to 60, left and right to auto. For the smaller screen, what we can do is, let's keep it secondary, but here let's do one more thing. We only keep change the font size. Rest, let's keep it all aligned to 6 XL. Okay. So let's keep it that way. So the subtitle also will add the media queries. Maximum width we can keep it accordingly. Okay, you do that for the smaller string. That will be your assignment. Now let's move to design. Okay, the title, you can see now the subtitle is fixed. It is aligned at the center because margin both left and right are set to auto. Okay, and you can see the spacing, it is how it is looking clean and all stuff. Now let's work on this particular cards. So this is looking very messy right now, so let's keep on styling this cards. Okay, so let's start with the testimonial grid. Let me copy the class. You can copy. Okay, and here let's set the display parent display type to grid. The grid template here will use the column as one fraction by default. The gap will be, let's keep it to 6. The padding should be both left, right, top, bottom to 4, and let's keep the content as layout style paint 7. So by writing this content part, so we are telling the browser that whatever happens inside the grid, any animation, because some animation, the pop-up animation, the side movement animation, that overall don't affect the entire page. Whatever happens inside the grid, that will be stays inside that particular box area, and it won't affect the entire web page. Nothing, no element get pushed out of the place. Okay, so that's why we are using it. All right, so the testimonial grid part is done. Let's move to the next part, the testimonial grid. Let's also, this is the important part, so we need to create multiple breakpoint of it. So I am creating one breakpoint. You can create multiple breakpoints. So let's create a breakpoint for 768 pixel screen size, the testimonial grid, column template, repeat 3 fractions, 3 times 1 fractions for the smallest. If the minimum width is this, will create a gap. For the every screen size, we'll adjust the gap between each uh, uh, cards so that it don't affect much. It becomes much more responsive. Okay, let's write for one more screen size media, that min width 1024. For the 1024, let's skip it. Okay, for this, let's skip it to 2. For this, let's skip it to 3 fractions. If the screen size is 768, we'll see. If it is less than 768, it will show 1 fraction. So that also you can do. Okay. And if it is bigger, you can, if it is bigger than, if the minimum width is, let's say, bigger than that, you can also manipulate all the spaces and all stuff. Here, what we can do is we can create a gap of, let's not use any gap right here. Let's use the gap here. We'll keep the default 6 gap. For the bigger screen, we'll increase the gap space. Okay, so now we are almost done. Let's move to the next important part, that is the testimonial part. Okay, for the testimonial, let's get the background color as the color surface and get the border radius to not LG, we'll keep it to XL. Okay, so and then for the border, we don't keep any border right here. Box shadow, will keep the shadow not base. For the padding, we'll keep the basic. Display type, we won't change here. Flex directions do not need. Gap is not required. Transitions is fine. Transitions you will be adding, that is your part. Okay, I'll not and add the position to relative and isolation to isolations. Well, we can keep it. So here, by writing isolation to isolate, we are saying we are avoiding the Z indexing, like Z index -1. Previously, we are using that. So by writing isolate, which means that any element that is it treats the card as a self-contained stack of layers. The lowest layer of the stack is the bottom of this card, and any element we added after this, it becomes above this particular card. Okay, so this is how the stacking is. We do the stacking accordingly. Okay, any element below it will become the bottom of the stack. Any element above it will become go above the stack. So this is how we are using isolate to isolate. Now let's see how it what changes happen. You can see now the card is fixed. Okay, the testimonial card is now fixed, the styling and all stuff. So now all the animation you will be applying on hover, what will happen, the box shadow will appear and all stuff, that things you will be applying by your own. Okay, so that things I won't be applying. Next, what we need to do is we need to fix this icon, that is the platform link. Okay, we need to fix that, and that this quotation part. Okay, and the handle part also we need to do the styling. Okay, so this is not how we want it like this way. So let's do that particular styling. of the handle right here. So the testimonial is done. Okay. Now we'll style the avatar and the user info and all stuff, the figures. Okay. So let's do the styling dot testimonial figure. For the figure, we'll set the display type to flex and flex direction. We'll set it to column. We'll set the margin to 0 and we'll set the height to 100%. Okay. So here we have set the flex direction to column. It will place all the children in a particular row from left to right. Okay. So for that particular stacking, we have used the flex direction as column. Now let's move to the next part is dot testimonial underscore figure is done. Let's work on this header part. Testimonial header part. So let's set the display to text alignment. We'll set it to flex hyphen start. Okay. Justify content. We'll set to space hyphen between to give space in between them. Okay. And margin bottom, let's be 4. Let's create a gap of space 4. Header part is done. Then we'll move to the user info part. Okay. For the user info part, we'll set the display type to flex. Line center, we'll give a gap of space 3. We'll set the flex 1, set value to 1. Min width will set to 0. So here we are setting the min width value to 0 to so that if the content, if the user info, the name is very much bigger, it will not push the uh, Twitter tag handle right hand side, but it will tell us to shrink all the container down to 0 pixel and to not exceed and get out of box. Okay, it will not. So by setting with minimum width 0, it will shrink to fit inside the card and forcing the text to cut up out of the container. Okay. So by setting the flex value 1, we are pushing the icon to the right hand side. So this is what we do. Now let's work on the image, the avatar part. Okay. So let's do that. For the avatar, we'll set the width, height to something around, we'll not keep it 4 spherical, just a round one. Border radius will keep it to full. Okay. And flex shrink to 0. Okay. And to fit the object image inside that, we'll set to object fit to cover. We'll add a border to it, something 2 pixels, and color will give it to a lighter tone, gray color with intensity of 100, and then we are done. Next thing we need to work on is this icon part is done, the citation part. We need to work the name part and the handle part. Okay, so dot citations, the, we'll set again the display type to flex direction will set it to column left and right. Overflow will not set right here. We'll set a gap of 0.5 and min width to 0. The same, it will shrink accordingly and it will not overflow. This next part is we need to work on the testimonial name. We'll send the font style to normal, font size to not large. We'll keep it small because font weight semi bold is fine. Text primary color, white space, no wrap. Okay. And text overflow is hidden is fine. Text overflow ellipsis. Okay, it is fine. So one more thing we can add right here, font weight, white space, overflow, line height. Okay, line height. We need to add the line height to it. Save it. Okay, by setting the white space to no wrap means we are forcing the name to stay in a single horizontal line and do not move out of the space. Overflow hidden, we are telling is if the text is too long, we'll hide it or we'll cut off the overflow space. Okay, and text overflow ellipsis means we'll chop the letter with triple dots, dot if it is exceeding. Okay, so for that we are adding these features. So let's see what are the changes happening. We can see right here it is working quite well with us. The text part we need to style and this part is right here fixed. Okay, the line height is applied and all stuff. So let's now move to the code part. Okay, testimonial name part is done. We need to work on the handle, then we'll work on the Twitter button, platform link. Okay, so we'll just quickly try to wrap it up right here. Slash handle. We'll write the font size. Keep the font size. Sorry, keep the font size something around XS small. Color will keep it text secondary. Line height is skip it snug. Okay. And overflow, let's set the overflow value to hidden and text overflow ellipsis triple dot then white space, no wrap. All right, so the next thing we'll quickly end with the link, platform link. Okay, testimonial platform link. This is the last part we need to complete. Okay, second display type, we'll set the display type to flex, and here we'll align the items to center, justify content to center, and we'll do the flex ring to 0 as explained. We'll keep the width to 3.2 and height we need to keep it round, so border radius we can keep it to radius base. Okay, and keep the background color, we can keep it to gray or let's keep it transparent. Okay, and here the border radius border radius, because we need to keep it round. Okay, so border radius, radius space is fine, and text decoration, let's set it to none. All right, let's see. All right, so it is fine, working good. Color we can change. uh, Background, let's apply the color. Tertiary, save it. Okay, now this part is fixed. All right, so now we have completed most of the section. Only we are left with the quotation part. Okay, so let's do that. So let's do the styling of the quotation testimonial quote part. Okay, for the testimonial, again, flex one, why I am keeping it, I've already explained. Just go through it. Margin will set to 0, padding will set to 0, font size, size of the base, font style will keep it to italics, italic. The color would be something like, let's keep it to gray, 700, and let's add a line height, relaxed. Save it, let's see, and you can see right now if it's fixed. So right now what you can do is you can apply media queries. Okay, we are done with the testimonial page. Here what we have done right here, we have created let's go a quick walkthrough. We have created a HTML page. We have added the open graph social sharing, the how the link will appear when you share, what title you want to show, what description you want to show. That is this part. We have also learned about implementation of the Google font, custom Google font, and we have learned about the semantic HTML tags and how to implement it here. We have created we have used a grid layout, and here for the styling, what we have done is we have created a design pattern, and we have set the box sizing to border box. We have set the one rem from 16px to 10px right here, and follow rem, mostly don't use pixels. And then I have told you implementation of different ways of implementation of background. Using the background image, this we have got from the web gradient website, and we have used a grid layout. The flex layout, we can also, using the flex, we have designed all the system. Okay, using the Flexbox. So this is how we have built the particular website. So your assignment is apply the animation on hover to each of the card, and after each what you can do is here, after the citation part and the name and the handle part, what you need to add is you need to add one more line which will have the star. So the assignment is like this. At the bottom of this handle and this avatar, add a line of star which will have the ratings of 5 star, 2 star, 3 star of different users. Apply all the animation to all the card on hover, and make this page responsive to dark mode, how the screen will appear when the user have chose dark mode or is in dark mode. So do apply that in this particular assignment. All right, thank you for attending the session. Hope you have a clear understanding of each and every topic. You have a clear understanding on the block code side, how to make it responsive, how to write a efficient code for a particular website. If you have any doubt, any queries, you can just drop right here. And thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next tutorial.